Sliced, quartered, and drawn. Get it? Or I could have started drawn and quartered, but that wouldn't have worked. I have picked these fruits because I feel that they present opportunities to play with the paint on these different surfaces. You don't have to use a different surface. You don't have to use more than one. You know, see how it works. But I wanted to sort of push the idea of trying a different surface than you sometimes use. And to that end, I have brought some multimedia, which is this breakable epoxy impregnated paper. I have brought some Bristol board, which we have had before, and I have some Mupo, a plastic alternative surface, very, very smooth, very, very removable. And I have some demonstrations, and I was going to go on with that demonstration about some with arches, you know, cold press, traditional paper, very absorptive and very distributive. Almost my favorite, shirt cardboard, renowned for its archival properties. These are two shirt cardboard. There's a Fabriano cold press. This is a Bristol board, which is not, you know, officially a watercolor paper. It's more for drawing, but I brought that to show what can happen when you use a paper that maybe you haven't used, and it starts to dictate a little to you. And if you've read your handout, I ended on a little Zen thing. I sort of got in a Zen zone, and I can't remember what I said. One could probably wrestle, and I do believe this is true, you could probably wrestle just about any paper into submission, particularly with your skill in this group, to your aims and style. But if you are alert to how the paper seems responsive to a certain approach, you may find yourself going in a slightly different direction and may find called upon to use a certain brush or vary the water. Use the Zen of painting to be in the moment, to be receptive. And though that sounds maybe a little hokey, I do believe that happens, and and maybe some of you also felt that happen. When I went between these two papers as I was trying to prepare for today. Arches, very heavy arches. I think it may be the 400 pound, which I don't have any longer. And this is the Strathmore Bristol, like that. Not an official watercolor paper. And once you start working a little, it can start beading up and not behaving correctly. So it tends to exploit the faster touch, put down the paint, get out. Of course, I disobeyed that a little bit. I had some fun, but the fast touch is good. I really got in a zone with this, which was my totally go-to paper for years, the Arches cold press. It isn't, I actually use much more hot press now. But this got me in this zone because it is, and maybe everyone doesn't agree with this, but you start painting on it, and to me, it just totally dictated just the smooth touch, the homogenization, as the wash just percolates out on the paper. I mean, it's made for carrying washes. It just loves it and distributes it. So I just would put something down, and I really did get into a little zone. The other thing it did for me is it promotes a certain style to me, just the way this promoted a certain different style, a much more direct, much more assertive, if you will. You know, I kind of overstepped color in there and let it go. here, it was all for how, I mean, you have to be close up probably to see some of the things where the washes just meld in just a beautiful, beautiful way. So that is what I'm talking about, responding to the paper. And you will find, I hope, that there are certain papers that you sort of go with. And that's what, obviously, then, you know, you're in a way, you're all past this experimental or whatever. Except, no, that's not true. Nobody has ever passed that.
It's just going to say.
What a ridiculous thing to say. Absolutely. And you forgot, you sometimes do not realize that there is a little something lurking in you that may say, wow. For instance, lurking that said wow about, to me, the shirt cardboard. I started working on this painting, and I just loved this thing. I was totally direct. And you put it down and it pretty much doesn't move around a lot. It just made me work in a very sort of dancey, beep-a-deep. So I did shirt cardboard. And shirt cardboard is not, it's not archival.
I also have this totally unpredictable paper that I bought on impulse in Japan. They claimed it's for water media, and there was they cut it up. They cut it into this size for somebody on order, and they never picked it up. And so it was in the sale bin, and and there are about 100 sheets here, so help yourself.
That would be fun, too. Another total surprise.
I don't know.
And you'll find out.
Because it was in Japanese. But it's very smooth. Its paper is very smooth. They said it was for water media.
As I say, I picked these sliced things. Everything's not sliced here, and nor need you slice everything, because it's kind of fun. You get these faces, you get these different, whole different calligraphy going on. I was showing this painting of mine, which is unfortunately not in color here, but it is in color in reality, which is in the Museum of Women in the Arts. And I did a whole series of sliced vegetables, and I exploited that very much, as I mentioned in the handout, for the decorative aspect. This one is a white space, they're all sliced on the same plane, and so it's, you know, it's all about positioning. And I loved that series. It was a long time thing. It was dealing negatively with the horizon back to last week, but not with the whole thing. So that was one treatment that was kind of fun, and you just get these fascinating things. It's fun to look at something differently, in a different way. The other thing, just briefly to mention, is in that you may be doing this around. Some of you have already set up stuff with cloths, doing cloth, folding, paper towels, whatever. I basically did mine on a piece of plastic, this thing. But these surrounding indications, and here is Van Gogh. Say it simple. Things. How you take that into indications of cloth, Demuthian directions, as we know. You know, pushing it out. So I did suggest, you know, you might be interested in working from the center and to see how you radiate. This is multi-demonstrations on the multimedia. There's not a theme, but you may feel that's a beautiful painting.